Today, our topic is the connection between Stoicism and Buddhism. Both Stoicism and Buddhism are ancient philosophies that teach us how to live a good life, how to find peace, and how to deal with suffering. Even though they come from different parts of the world, Stoicism from ancient Greece and Rome, and Buddhism from ancient India, they share many similar ideas. Both philosophies focus on the mind, on controlling our emotions, and on understanding that we cannot control everything in life. They teach us to let go of things we cannot change, and to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. Stoicism was founded by philosophers like Zeno of Citium, Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. They believed that the key to a good life is to live in harmony with nature, and to accept whatever happens to us with calmness and strength. They taught that we should not be attached to material things or to outcomes, because these things are not in our control. Instead, we should focus on developing virtue, which means being wise, courageous, just, and self-disciplined. The Stoics believed that by doing this, we can achieve inner peace, no matter what happens in the outside world. Buddhism, on the other hand, was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha. One day, he taught that suffering is a part of life, but it is caused by our desires and attachments. If we can let go of these desires, we can end our suffering and achieve a state of peace called Nirvana. Like the Stoics, the Buddha taught that we should not be attached to material things or to outcomes, because these things are temporary and will eventually disappear. Instead, we should focus on developing qualities like wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. One of the most important similarities between Stoicism and Buddhism is their focus on the mind. Both philosophies teach that our thoughts create our reality. If we think negative thoughts, we will feel negative emotions. If we think positive thoughts, we will feel positive emotions. This means that if we want to change how we feel, we need to change how we think. The Stoics called this the discipline of perception, which means seeing things as they really are, without adding our own judgments or emotions. The Buddhists call this right view, which means seeing the world clearly and without illusions. Both philosophies teach us to be aware of our thoughts and to question whether they are true or helpful. Another similarity is their focus on acceptance. Both Stoicism and Buddhism teach that we cannot control everything in life. We cannot control the weather, other people's actions, or even our own bodies. What we can control is how we respond to these things. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, which means separating what is in our control from what is not. The Buddhists call this non-attachment, which means not holding on to things that we cannot control. Both philosophies teach us to accept what happens to us without resistance, because resistance only creates more suffering. A third similarity is their focus on living in the present moment. The Stoics believe that we should focus on the present because the past is gone and the future is uncertain. The Buddhists also teach that we should focus on the present because it is the only moment we have. Both philosophies warn against dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, because this takes us away from the reality of the present moment. The Stoics called this living in accordance with nature, which means accepting the natural flow of life. The Buddhists call this mindfulness, which means being fully aware of what is happening right now. Both Stoicism and Buddhism also teach us to be kind and compassionate. The Stoics believe that we are all part of a larger community, and that we should treat others with respect and fairness. They believe that by helping others, we help ourselves. The Buddhists also teach that we should be kind and compassionate to all living beings, because we are all connected. They believe that by helping others, we reduce our own suffering and create positive karma. However, there are also some differences between Stoicism and Buddhism. One difference is their view of the self. The Stoics believe that the self is real and that we should work to improve ourselves. They believe that we have a rational mind that can help us make good decisions and live a virtuous life. The Buddhists, on the other hand, believe that the self is an illusion. They teach that there is no permanent self, but only a collection of thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are constantly changing. This is called anatta, or no self. Another difference is their view of the afterlife. The Stoics believed in a kind of cosmic order, where everything happens for a reason, and where the soul might continue after death. They believed that we should live in harmony with this cosmic order, and accept whatever happens to us as part of a larger plan. The Buddhists, on the other hand, believe in reincarnation, where the soul is reborn into a new body after death. They believe that our actions in this life will affect our future lives, and that the goal is to break the cycle of rebirth and achieve nirvana. Despite these differences, both Stoicism and Buddhism offer practical advice for living a good life. They teach us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we cannot control, and to live in the present moment. They teach us to be kind and compassionate to others, and to develop qualities like wisdom, courage, and mindfulness. They remind us that life is short, and that we should make the most of it by living with purpose and meaning. So, how can we apply these teachings to our own lives? First, we can practice mindfulness. This means paying attention to our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we feel angry or sad, we can ask ourselves why we feel this way, and whether our thoughts are true or helpful. Second, we can practice acceptance. This means letting go of things we cannot control and focusing on what we can control. When something bad happens, we can remind ourselves that it is not the end of the world, and that we can choose how to respond. Third, we can practice kindness and compassion. This means treating others with respect and fairness, and helping those in need. By doing this, we not only help others, but we also improve ourselves. In conclusion, Stoicism and Buddhism are two ancient philosophies that offer timeless wisdom for living a good life. They teach us to focus on the mind, to accept what we cannot control, and to live in the present moment. They remind us that life is full of challenges, but that we can find peace and happiness by developing inner strength and virtue. Whether we follow the teachings of the Stoics or the Buddha, we can learn to live with more clarity, calmness, and compassion. And in doing so, we can create a better life for ourselves and for others.